Okay. Yar. Okay, I'm all ready whenever
You're
you are.
pirate? Yar.
Arg. Arg, mateys.
Yeah, this is the pirate episode.
Welcome to our pirate podcast. What if we just talked like pirates all the time and that was just like what we did?
Yeah, I think we should. We'd be really quirky, I guess.
Aren't there people who do that? Like people who like role play as pirates?
Oh yeah, I mean, people role play as everything.
You never hear about pirates anymore.
Yeah, I think they're dead. But I was walking through this like really rich neighborhood yesterday because I got to work early, and like they just had this like nice park, and like they're rich because they all have like landscaping, and I felt like I was cosplaying a rich person, like
Oh my
walking through.
gosh, I love doing that. I love to drive my car through rich neighborhoods. And I feel like because my car is kind of like a newer model, kind of a nicer car, um, people probably like assume I live there and it feels so nice. I love
Yeah,
I
they
get
don't
like
know you're an
waved at.
imposter.
I'm like in the country club and people like, do the little like driving three-finger wave thing. And I'm just like, yep, I live here. My dad, lawyer. Like, no,
My mom, doctor.
not even close. Like,
I don't know how we transition from pirates and role playing
me
to
neither, but I
the
like that.
topic of this week's episode, which is college.
College? Question mark?
College question mark. No, but yeah, we want to talk about, is college worth it? We just both got out, so we kind of get to reflect on our experience. And Kaitlyn's had some crazy experiences with the college newspaper. So we're going to talk
Yeah.
about that. But yeah,
Maybe
welcome
tomorrow.
to episode 4. I'm Lila,
I'm Kaitlyn.
and this is the baggage claim.
Get your baggage here, baby.
Here, get your baggage, open your baggage,
Unzipped.
unzip your baggage, maybe pack some baggage. It's not what we're here for, but
Yeah, I feel like you could probably take some of this away with you though too.
true.
We're like just telling life lessons.
Yeah, talking about philosophy,
Yeah, we're
pirate
philosophers.
philosophy.
Pirate philosophy. I was in our school's newspaper. I worked as a staff writer there for my senior year. So I just kind of picked up stories that needed to be picked up. And I also got to write a lot of stuff that I wanted to write. Like, usually I kind of had leeway, but I just was required to write a story a week. Sometimes I would do more. And really, the newspaper served as nothing more than just a gigantic gossip session for me. Because for our meetings, we held weekly meetings every Monday. It would just turn into like me and this group of girls all became friends and we would just like gossip. Like after the staff meetings, we had meetings with the entire club and then that would usually last like 30 minutes to an hour. They would all leave and then the staff would have our own meeting and talk about like what we can improve upon and like whatever, which would be like usually pretty short. And then it was gossip time. And there was a couple things I wanted to talk about just because I thought that they were really funny and kind of like in relation to last week's episode about dating and hookup culture in college and stuff. There were two members in the Clarion that we knew were seeing each other. Nobody was supposed to know this information. Nobody is still supposed to know this. Neither of these people know that I know this. But there was two editors. They were both editors over different sections. Girl
And
and a
I think we
guy.
have mentioned the guy before in the podcast.
We have mentioned the guy.
So go
Um,
listen to our last episode and figure it out.
yeah. The guy was always kind of chatting it up with this girl, and she was always hee 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 tee hee, like all like giggly around him. And I remember peeping that like week 2 and being like, something's there, something's there. And then they decided to write an article together. And that's when I was like, something is definitely there. And I never spoke about it with anyone. I never was like, I think something's there. It was just this little like inkling that I had that I observed. I think I'm pretty good at reading people. I think I always kind of can tell when people have crushes on each other or when somebody has like a crush on me. So I was like, this is really interesting. It was like something I would just kind of watch unravel and unfold. Then a couple months later, we were having our little gossip session after our meeting, and it was Valentine's Day. So we had a meeting on Valentine's Day. We came in, we used to do these questions where during our staff meetings, they would say, like, oh, like whoever wants to ask a question for the group, we'd go around and share like things that were happening in the week, like updates. We'd have a question that we'd have to ask, just a little nice icebreaker. And then we would talk about things that were, newspaper related. So the question that week was kind of sparked because of me, because, like I was single and I was mad about it. And it was Valentine's Day. And so I just came into that room like hot-headed. And I was like, man, I don't want to be here today. Anna, one of the girls in newspaper, like decorated, had heart stuff up everywhere. And I was like, this is bogus. Like, I don't want, I was like so verbally, audibly mad over this in front of everybody.
I also like how if you're single on Valentine's Day, it's like the worst holiday. And
It's
like
the worst.
I only think of it as this like it's a Hallmark holiday, you know? Like I feel like it's invented for money. But then when I'm in a relationship on Valentine's Day, I'm like, "Oh my God. Like I want to go all out."
Yeah, like it is my day. To be fair, I haven't had any good Valentine's Day experiences. I've kind of only had bad. So that's another reason why I hate it. Like even in a relationship, I've had like horrible Valentine's Days with my ex. So like just not my cup of tea. Hopefully that'll change this year. We'll find out.
I'll make it better
But
for you.
thank you, baby. You're so considerate and sweet always. But so we
So you're mad
decided,
about Valentine's Day?
yeah, I'm mad about Valentine's Day, and we decide for the question to be like, it was supposed to be what was your worst Valentine's Day? But some people chose to just share their worst ever date because they were like, I haven't had a bad Valentine's Day. I was like, must be nice. Like, speak for yourself. So then went around sharing everything, and we got to this guy, and he shared something. And then the girl, I just noticed there was like weird energy. She ended up leaving. She didn't want to stay for like the whole meeting. She seemed upset. He leaves shortly after, and I was like, that was odd. And then me and a couple of my, gossip girls were there, and we were left, and one of them was like, I gotta tell y'all something. And we're kind of like, what is it? What's the tea? And she tells us that they were seeing each other and that he didn't want a relationship with her. She wanted a relationship. He said he didn't want one at all. He wasn't ready for a relationship, but then popped out with another girlfriend. And he brought the girlfriend to that meeting.
Damn.
And I was like, I knew it. I knew that they had a little thing going. I've been peeping this all year. I'm so glad somebody else knows about this and said something, because this was all in my head. I thought I was like imagining everything. Like I thought I was like delusional. Like I was like, there's like, but I was right. I saw that. I saw that a mile away.
The reason
So
I love this too is if you've met him, like it's such a nerdy love story. He's
it
not
is,
some like he's not a player, you know?
you
Like
know,
I can't even the fact that they wrote an article together, I feel like says a lot about that
I,
relationship.
I would agree. So yeah, that was just probably the funniest story that I can tell from that. But I also had this idea of just like what it should be like in the newspaper. We were like struggling with people reading it. And I was like, we should just start a gossip column. Like that's what we do here. And it's so entertaining. I was like, people would actually read it if we had a gossip column. And I was kind of joking, but kind of serious. And everybody
I
was like,
think
well,
it's one of those things where, yeah, like it's great for students to practice quality journalism, but at the same time, like you guys need people to read it. It's a college. You guys should be having fun. And like they do take it too seriously a
yeah. And
lot.
it's like, how do we cater to our actual readers? That's how. You got to get some tea in there. And that's why the media is so corrupt as a whole, because we
Yeah.
have to figure out how to get people to actually partake and like listen, read this, like watch this. And I was
Every
like,
publication is just tea.
it's just
New York
gossip.
Times,
That's all it
Washington Post.
is. That's all
Yeah.
journalism really even is. Like, what is the news? It's gossip. People are gossiping. So I was like, why don't we just start a gossip column here? They're like, what would we even call it? Like, Yik Yak Girl? I'm like, yep, let's do that. So it was just an ongoing joke that we had. And I kind of wish we would have done it because I think it would have been so fun. Like, there's so many people that we could have just talked about. It was a relatively small school, so I think a lot of people knew other people. So
I think it would have been so good for that for the Clarion, because when I was at Fordham, there was an Instagram page that people could submit like anonymous crushes to. So they'd like write a line about somebody they have a crush on, and they'd be vague enough that you don't know exactly who it is, but also specific enough that certain people could guess. You know, it'd be like, oh, the girl that always wears like this necklace in my chemistry class. Every single person I knew kept up with this page because you wanted to read it and figure out if you knew who it was. And they
or if
would
it was
use names
you.
sometimes. Yeah, or if it was
Yeah.
you. And they would use names sometimes and you'd be like, "Oh my God, like I know that person." It was so entertaining. And I feel like a lot of people at DU don't even know about the Clarion or like care about reading it. They just know it's a club on campus. But if they gossiped, oh my God.
Other people would gossip about it.
Yeah. That's your marketing tactic is gossip.
That's how you get people to listen. Everybody loves to gossip, and I'm sick of people. I'm sick of this narrative that you're a bad person if you gossip. I, my whole life, have fully been like, yes, I gossip. So do you. So does everyone. Like, at least I'm being honest about it, you know?
Yeah,
But I
because
feel like I
like you said,
always got in
everybody
trouble
does
for
it.
that.
Yeah. Well, because I think we acknowledge it as gossip. Everybody talks about other people. Everybody talks about things they don't like. Like everyone is judgmental. We're just straight up. We know that we gossip and it's not a bad thing. Like
We're
everyone
just
does it.
keeping it real, you know?
Yeah.
I guess I went to private schools. I went to Catholic school growing up. And I think that that was a big reason why I would like kind of get a bad rap for it because it was like morally incorrect, you know? But like,
God doesn't like it.
God doesn't like gossip. But I think he does because, like, what's the Bible?
God loves to gossip. Have you read the
Yeah.
book of Job? Oh my
Oh
God.
my
Him
God.
and Satan were like, oh my God, have you seen this guy, Job?
I was
Satan was
actually
like, he doesn't really like you, God. And God was like, I bet he does. Try something. I'll prove you wrong. And then Satan like killed his whole family and killed everything he ever had. And God was like, see, gotcha. That's it. That's the
God's
whole Bible.
like that's really it's like petty, but no, in a way like he eats. Like it's not petty like, oh my gosh, that's petty. Like I'm like you ate with that one, you know? Like
Yeah. We're
slay.
still gossiping about God to this day.
I really do. Like he really has an influence, you know? But
The
I was
OG influencer.
I was just talking about this today, actually. So at Catholic school, I don't know if like other people will know what this is. Like, I don't even know if you'll know what this is, but we used to do this thing called adoration. Do you know what that is?
No.
So like basically, I think it was like every first Friday of the month, we would go into the chapel and like pray. They would have like the Eucharist blessed like out and it's like little thing. I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head right now. But we would go in there, we would pray. It felt like a long time. It was probably like 40 minutes or something like that, but like it felt like forever when you're a kid. We were allowed to bring a Bible or a rosary, but those were like the only two things we were allowed to bring. I used to choose to bring the Bible, and I think all the teachers are like, wow, like they were impressed by that. But you know what I would do with my Bible?
What?
I would try to find the most juicy stories in there. And I used to reread the same stories because I knew, like, oh, this is the story that's about that. And I would just go to adoration, like reading these juicy Bible stories with all this gossip, all this tea. Like, and I
It
remember
really is. There's so many stories that are like husbands sleeping with women that aren't their wives,
those were my
and just
favorite.
just chronicles of random people that somebody wanted to tell everyone about. Like the
Yeah,
core of it is gossip.
I remember like sitting next to my friends and then being like, "Oh my God, flip to this page, flip to this page." And like we would all just like in a line like read this like it's our fan fiction. Like we were obsessed with it.
It is
So,
fan fiction.
yeah.
I mean, Jesus didn't write it. Jesus's fans wrote it.
That's true. It is fan fiction. At least the New Testament is fan fiction about Jesus. So,
Yeah.
he's such an icon. Wow.
Once again, having a hard time with the transition between Jesus and college finances. But
Jesus wouldn't want this for us, you know.
Jesus wouldn't want this for us. That's how we'll get into this. Um yeah, I didn't do newspaper in college. I just kind of Oh yeah, so I did USG, and I'm kind of mad now cuz I didn't get paid for that. I didn't realize Kaitlyn was getting paid for newspaper. I did get paid for my last quarter, but I had to like go to volunteer events and like do things for the money, and I don't like doing things for money. So,
Me neither. I want money for free.
yeah, every year I've been in college, I've just been astonished at how much everything costs and how little you get back for it. Like our college, especially, like we've mentioned this before, but it's really expensive, and neither of us would have even been able to go if we didn't have like scholarships, or like I have a GI Bill. That was the only way I could really go. And if you don't have that, you're paying like hundreds of thousands of dollars to sit in a class and like say your name and pronouns 200 times every year.
I also think so many of the classes were unnecessary, especially gen eds. Like if they don't apply to your degree, I don't understand why we have to do them.
I straight up
Um,
was not allowed to graduate. Like my graduation was delayed, and the extra class I had to take was oh my God, this would have been a great transition. It was a the Bible is literature. I had to take that. I'm a
I mean,
media
it is
studies
a it
major.
is a book. Like what is that title for that class? The Bible is literature. Like so is every other book. That's what literature is. Like
And at first I was like, this is such a weird thing for me to have to take. I could have taken any class. Literally any class would have let me graduate, which is also wild. Just let me graduate now. Like, I'm not going to learn anything between like ending in May and taking a Star Wars class over the summer. And they have a Star Wars class,
they
literally.
do. They also
Like that.
have a class. It's actually in our department. It was in the media film journalism studies department. It was a cannabis in journalism
Cannabis
class.
journalism, yeah.
And the teacher, the professor who taught that actually was our newspaper staff advisor. He was a really cool guy, but he was just funny to be around. I remember seeing him in MFGAS just like walking down the hallway playing the guitar one day, and we kind of exchanged a glance, and I was like, do I even like acknowledge this is happening?
You texted me about that.
It was
While
so
it was
weird.
happening. You also like don't even wait between something funny happening to you and texting me. Like the way I imagine it is like he's walking past you with the guitar as you're texting me.
That is how it happened for sure. I was like, this just happened literally 0.5 seconds ago.
I do the same thing. Yeah, like classes themselves are thousands of dollars. And then I would have to look at my student bill a lot because I need to make sure that like the VA pays their portion so I can cover whatever's left. And there are so many fees that they add on that make no sense. They literally put like a general fee. I'm like, what does that even mean? That's
They
just
tried to
taking
charge me
money.
housing fees. I've never lived on campus there, and they tried to charge me housing fees. I was like, where do you think I'm being housed? Because it's not there.
It's because you have a house. They're just charging you a fee.
Yeah, if I was homeless, if I was like
Well, then you
Juju's
need the
like
homeless fee.
girlfriend, Juju's girlfriend from the homeless shelter, then I wouldn't get a fee.
Yeah. Yeah, like I feel like the employees in the financial office just add on random things to your bill and see what sticks. Like they try to
Yeah.
see if students are going to come back and complain about it or if they just straight up pay. And I think they pay most of the time because the bills are already like tens of thousands of dollars. It's like over 40 grand for like a semester.
It's just
So
another little thousand here and there. Like,
yeah, if it's like $100 anonymous fee, they're gonna be like, okay, sure, I'll pay that.
I
So
also
at some
think the process of getting those fees removed is almost more work than what it's worth.
yeah,
So a lot of times it's difficult to even get those fees removed, so people just don't even try.
yeah, or they don't even know how to do it because there's like nobody tells you.
Yeah.
But I had that issue because I think I had like late fees on my account. And since I don't pay my student bill, I shouldn't have late fees. If there are late fees, the VA should be paying it. So I like emailed the financial office and I was like, hey guys, I have $500 in late fees on my account. They need to not be on my account. And they just like came back to me and I explained, I was like, I'm on a GI Bill. I'm not responsible for when this is paid. I've done everything I can do. I'm not going to pay $500 for something that was not on me. And they just came back and they like basically said they can't do anything, but they clearly misunderstood what I was saying. So I got kind of pissed off. I responded back and I was like as clear as I could possibly be. Like I explained everything. I'm like I'm a student in this college and this is my ID number, this is my name, blah blah blah. And they still didn't get it. So the next morning, I just went straight up to their office. I got there before they even opened, and they were like, "You're gonna have to wait outside." And I was like, "That's fine." And I just pulled a chair up like right next to the door, and I waited half an hour till they opened. And I was like, I was so mad about it because I'm like, I'm not gonna pay $500 that I don't owe. And I was ready to like do whatever I needed to do to make sure that thing got off.
Just
So they
like
finally
start
opened.
fighting people.
Yeah, yeah.
Jump a desk, throw elbows.
Yeah, I had a gun in my back. No. Um but I walk in and they take me to this lady's like cubicle and she's this like nice old lady. This nice old lady and I'm like, "What the heck?" And she has a picture of Nicolas Cage taped to her computer. And I'm like, at that point I'm like, "Okay, she's nice. I have no freaking idea what this is about, but
What is she doing with that?
yeah, I think it's like her inspiration, you know, like when she's
She
like,
kisses
"Oh,
it.
yeah, she's like, I hate being at work." And then she looks at Nick Cage and she's like, "Mwah."
She's like, I'll bring home the bread, baby. Don't worry. Shh.
She's like looking up all my financial information and I'm just sitting there. So I'm like, "I like your Nick Cage." And she got so hyped about it. She was like, "Oh my God, thank you." She's like, "We love Nick Cage around here." It's a running like joke. I don't know if it's a joke or if they're just like the most dedicated Nick Cage fan club I've ever seen.
It has
But
to be a joke. Who really likes him that much?
they do apparently. It's actually funny too because at the what's it called? Oh, Burwell, you know, like the professional career center.
Yeah.
I interviewed for a job there to be a career advisor. And the last question they asked me was, what if you could recommend like one movie right now, what would it be? And I had just watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. So I recommended that to them. And the interview was going really badly until I said that. And the interviewer was like, "Oh my God, I love Nick Cage. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to watch it." Like referenced it later.
Wait, so
and then
this
he offered me
went
the job.
beyond just the financial aid office? Like this went to every office at DU?
This is a conspiracy because when I'm at the financial office, she pulls out a ruler that has pictures of Nick Cage's head taped to it. Like
Like
Nick
at each
Cage's head
inch?
is 1 inch. Yeah. They measure things in Nick Cage heads.
They're like, how many Nick Cage heads is this? They're like, oh, it's about 4.
I think they're just so like they're going insane from being stuck in their cubicles that they just like worship him now. They're just completely obsessed.
That job also must suck. Like, I can't imagine that being a fun job for anyone to do.
It's boring, but I don't know if it would like push me into Nicolas Cage mania.
It might. Like, I could see myself doing that. I mean, look at what happened with us and Julian.
That's so true. And I honestly think Nick Cage is like easier to like than Julian.
I mean, he's slightly more famous.
Oh, just this much, just barely.
Barely. You're almost there, Juju. Keep pushing.
I do wonder sometimes if he is more famous than we realize. Like, obviously, he's not famous, but if we talk to more people in journalism, would they like know
He does
who he
have a
was?
Wikipedia. I don't know. I think he wrote it, but it's there.
I think he wrote it and then edits it regularly because it has a whole section for his childhood. It has a part about his dad, where his dad worked, where his dad moved to. And I'm like, sir, this information is not publicized anywhere else.
It's gotta come from him because who else would know all of that about him? Maybe his girlfriend?
Literally nobody. Like his girlfriend probably doesn't even know that. I couldn't tell
She
anybody
read
that
his
about like
Wikipedia.
my boyfriend's dad. Like I would have no idea.
No, I
That
wouldn't be
was
able to tell you either.
that was for sure just Juju like trying to make sure everyone gets the facts straight about him in case someone like wants to write an article about his dad.
Wait, do you remember like the first day of class he said that Google had his birthday wrong, which they take that from Wikipedia.
I forgot about that.
So either he didn't write it himself and someone else actually authentically wrote all of that, or he was trying to throw us off and he put his own birthday wrong and was like, oh my gosh, like they have my birthday wrong, guys. Like they're so silly.
I would bet on him putting it wrong. Because how else would anybody get a birthday from him aside from like directly from the source?
We should look up and see if there are interviews done on him. Like if
I'm
there's
looking
ever
at Julian right now. It says it has his birthday right after his name for some reason. December 27th,
I think it's like the
1968.
28th or something. It was like a day off.
I wonder if he's edited it since then though.
Probably.
Like I wonder if he was wrong when unless you just like remember his birthday because you were so into that conversation.
I actually am disappointed in myself because I don't. Like
We should email him and be like, Julian, when's your birthday?
What's your birthday? We want to send you a present.
He'd get a restraining order.
I'm surprised he doesn't already have one.
Speaking of King Julian, we have a Juliation this Sunday, which, if you do not know, is when we read old tweets from our professor, and he doesn't talk to us, and he does not know we do this, but we enjoy it.
Okay, so our Juliation for this week is Juliation 724. I never liked creative nonfiction, as it blurs what we never want blurred.
That made me tear up a little bit.
That I think might be my favorite of all the ones that we saw, because I was like, same. So true.
But I mean, it makes me think about his writing and like, what does he not want blurred? Like how handsome the guys he interviews are.
He's just so sick of everybody not being honest about how attractive their interviewees are. He's like, stop blurring the lines. Call him handsome.
Okay, you know what? I want to see if I can find one of the articles he read to us in class. I did like that article about birds.
The the Easter egg one.
Easter egg.
I'm pretty sure
Maybe?
he titled it like Easter egg
Yeah.
hunt.
Yeah. Something like
Something
that.
like that. I loved that article because I actually didn't know anything about that. Do you want to explain a little bit what that article was about for our listeners?
I honestly don't know if I know how to explain it because I don't remember it super well. But it was about like rare bird watchers, or do they hunt
Yeah,
the birds?
so there were these bird watchers. They're all in like the UK. And I guess it's like illegal to collect bird eggs because people were stealing bird eggs from like birds' nests, and then these birds were going extinct. And it was this whole like phenomenon, I guess, in the 1800s. And so it became illegal to do so. Like bird egg collecting became illegal. And I guess there was this like psycho who lived in the UK who just wouldn't stop. Like he was addicted to it. He had been arrested for it. He'd been put in jail for it like multiple times. I want to say he'd gone to jail like twice. And he was just like he couldn't get enough. And it's just such a weird obsession to have. He should be on My Strange Addiction. Like My Strange Addiction is collecting rare bird eggs. Because here's the thing, they would take these eggs before they would hatch. So then the mom birds couldn't like sit on their eggs. So these like little baby birds that are in these eggs would die. So, but the eggs apparently were beautiful looking and people just like to keep them as like decor in their homes. But from the article that our professor wrote, it seemed like this guy that got arrested for it a whole bunch, he didn't even have like I guess it was like hoarding. Like it wasn't like a nice setup of the eggs. He was just like hoarding a bunch of them.
He's like maniacally obsessed with collecting bird eggs. I wonder if
It
I
was
can
a
find
really
that
good
one.
article though. It was called like I want
Operation
to say
Easter.
Operation Easter. Yes, that was it.
It was in the New Yorker.
Yeah, they sent him
Wow.
off to like the UK for like months to write this story. And he had to like investigate.
Yeah, on the afternoon of May 31st, 2011, Charlie Everett, an investigator for the National Wildlife Crime Unit in Edinburgh, Scotland, received an urgent call from a colleague in the Northern Constabulary, the regional police department, whose jurisdiction includes the islands off the country's western coast. That was a really long sentence to start off with, Julian, but I'll forgive you. The officer told Everett that a nature reserve warden on the Isle of Rum, 20 miles offshore, had reported seeing a man dancing about in a gull colony.
Dancing about.
Just dancing about. He was
He
getting
was
into
really
it.
getting his freak on.
Yeah.
He had like Missy Elliott playing.
Those eggs just got him so hyped up. I really wanted to find that
The baseball player.
the baseball player, but I don't remember his name.
I feel like it was like Aaron something. I could be so wrong. I could be making that completely up.
It's so funny because I just like don't imagine him writing about sports. Like he just does not seem like a sports guy.
I don't think he does either. I think that it seems that that wasn't really what he wanted to do though. I think
Yeah.
that's just what he got into first. Like I think he worked for Sports Illustrated before he worked for like the New Yorker or Washington Post or any of those other like bigger publications that he worked for. Because I think he wanted to be like an investigative journalist, kind of the way he is now. But I think he just got his start in sports. That's the only thing that would make any sense to me because he doesn't seem like a sporty guy.
Spying his favorite American restaurant, Denny's. The best pitcher in Cuban baseball history pulls into the parking lot, pausing to let the song finish before turning off the ignition. Then, gesturing with his famous right arm, he says with a smile that defines him,
That
Inside this car,
defines him.
inside this car is Cuba.
Is that like his little nickname? Like, did he make that his nickname because he was from
I think
there?
his name is Orlando El Duque? I don't know. Hernandez. Okay. It's as good as I remembered. Safely tucked into a booth at Denny's, El Duque orders the all-American slam and a large orange juice. As another waitress stops to fill a cup of coffee on the table, he says, "That's why I never order coffee. Just when you're so happy you've put just the right amount of milk and sugar in and you're really enjoying it, they have to ruin it for you by filling it up." Way to say screw you to the waitress. Like, she's doing her job.
Yeah, she was just trying to make sure you had your coffee, El Duque.
He's leaning back now, his long wing-like arms outstretched on either side of the booth, allowing himself a rare reminiscence. Slowly, he breaks into a smile that can melt the ice in any diplomatic scuttle.
This is so romantic.
It spreads as wide as his soft, whiskerless face. His lips. I can't.
Why? Why?
His lips opening. Just the right amount. Oh my god. To make his watery.
Just the right amount? Oh my god. I need to pull my collar. Pull my collar. I'm gonna throw up. I'm just like sweating.
This is so fun. And we had to listen to this in class.
This is making me really hot right now. Oh my god, this is so romantic.
So his lips opening just the right amount to make his watery hazel eyes twinkle in the fluorescent light.
Twinkle.
It is a smile that will stay with you forever. A gift. As if he...
There's no way. This is not real. This is like way worse than how I remember it being. I thought he just called him handsome. No, he's describing every inch of this man's body, and he's like, "I wish I could lick it all."
His
like
soft face, his lips, as if he knows this. He'll show it to you again and again, night or day.
What?
Sad or tired as he may be, he's had lots of practice.
No way. This literally, what is this? This sounds like he's expecting to get like piped by this man right now. What?
I have read romantic novels less romantic than this.
I'm in shock. I don't remember it being this bad. Like, I remember it being like, oh, that was like kind of flirty, Juju, but like, whoa. Like, this, I don't think I've said even like a fraction of this stuff to like my boyfriend.
I know.
Maybe I've called his eyes hazel. That's about it.
Yeah, you didn't say they twinkle in the light.
I
think Julian really should have gotten in the business of writing like erotic novels for middle-aged women.
I mean, like, maybe not even middle-aged. I'm like 23 and I'm like, whoo.
I also think it's hysterical that this is a long article and that was like one of the only parts he read to us.
Yeah, like, why is that what he chose?
He was so proud of that. He probably just wanted to like relive the moment and remember his soft face and lips.
He reads this before he goes to sleep every night so that he can dream about him.
He writes his own fan fiction.
This is insane. I don't remember it being that bad.
I honestly was afraid that like I had made it seem worse than it was and that I would find it again because it's been a long time since we've heard that, and that I'd find it and I'd be like, oh, this isn't bad. If somebody interviewed me and wrote these things about me, I would not want to see them again. I would be scared. I think they were going to make a move on me.
It depends on who it was, I guess. But no, I think I'd be freaked out regardless. Even if like someone I wanted to like be romantically interested in me wrote that about me, I'd be like, that's a lot.
A smile that will stay with you forever, a gift, and then as if he knows this, he'll show it to you again and again, night or day, sad or tired as he may be. Like, what?
That's smut. That
fully. I don't want him showing it to me.
This is X-rated, bro.
And also right after being like, his lips were parted just the right amount.
They were perfectly parted as he slipped his tongue down my throat. Like, what? I'm scared right now. I feel like Juju's gonna like come out somewhere.
Juju pops out if you look in the mirror and part your lips perfectly 3 times.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have like a nightmare. I think my cat is having a nightmare. She just made like the most disgusting meow from like deep within her, and she's like sleeping. Okay.
I get scared that my cat can like see ghosts or something. You know, people say that like animals can see ghosts.
John and I actually joked about that with Shelby.
See, I don't like that because like I would say I don't believe in ghosts, but that doesn't mean they don't scare me. So if I'm like home alone and my cat's like yelling at me, I'm like, what if she sees a ghost right now and she's trying to warn me and I don't know what she's saying?
I do believe in ghosts, low key. I don't know if it's because of like my religion and the way that I was raised, but in my head, I think ghosts are people that are in purgatory, like people that aren't in heaven or hell.
Welcome to our
And
Christian podcast.
Christian girl Autumn, I'm wearing the sweater and everything. No, but I do think that ghosts exist, and I know people who have had like experiences that at least they claim with ghosts.
Tristan says that when he was a kid, he saw I think his grandfather, but he had never, his grandfather had died like when, like I think before he was born, so he didn't know what he looked like.
I've heard that kids are supposed to be more like spiritually connected and stuff, and that's common apparently that kids see ghosts. So it's like I would believe him. I don't know. We should do an episode about ghosts.
We should do a ghost. Maybe we do that for Halloween.
That's a good idea. We should do that for sure.
Yeah. Also, we hit 100 listens on Spotify.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
impressive. Go us. And that's original listens, or is that like
It only tells me the number of people that have listened in the last 7 days.
and there's
So I
100?
don't know what the all-time number is. In the last 7 days, it was 27 people.
Okay.
27 distinct people in the past week, which is really good.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening, coming back and supporting us. All 27 of you. Love you.
Although, you know, like I said, there's more because it's a different number every week. And a lot of those are going to be different people.
I feel like we're getting up there in the world.
Yeah, we're famous. We're going to write our own Wikipedia page tonight.
The way you said that too, you're like, yeah, we're famous. Like, we're gonna write our Wikipedia.
Wikipedia?
Wikipedia.
Our own Wikipedia. Yeah. I'm gonna put your birthday and make sure it's wrong, so then you can tell people that Google got your birthday wrong.
I'm like, what? What? They got my birthday wrong. My feet turn in. I'm like touching my pointer fingers together.
And yeah, my favorite part about even Julian saying that is like, obviously you're Googling yourself. Like, there's no other way you know
I
that.
Google myself.
I have Googled myself, but I haven't done it in a while.
I don't think I guess I don't
want to see. I don't want to know, you know?
I actually did Google myself recently because I was at this event and I didn't know that pictures were going to be posted from that event, but then I saw them online and I was curious if they would come up if you just Googled my name. I don't think they did.
You know what? I'm pretty happy with this. I have a pretty freaking good one. So I Googled myself. Number 1 is my LinkedIn. I'm good with that. Number 2 is my Instagram. Number 3 is old swim meet times. And then a DU article about my internship. A DU article about the pitch I did, which I didn't know they wrote. Oh my god, there is a picture of me. Look, they put me on it.
Aw, you're so cute.
I'm so famous. I hate that picture, but anyways. I didn't know they
You
did
can
that.
barely
That's
see
so
it though. It's like from far away.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good picture. I just Googled myself too, and it's like my LinkedIn, some articles I've done, some ballet
Some
stuff.
of my articles come up too.
Yeah, I have a lot of dance stuff, like different dance competitions.
A movie comes up on mine
Oh wow.
called Lila.
Ooh, la la la
What the
la.
hell is this? I'm gonna click it.
Oh my God, they did. If you Google me, it does come up with the photo that they put up of me.
Oh
I'm
my
so
God, that picture of
famous.
you as a kid comes up.
What?
Do you see that? It's from your
Yes.
Pinterest, you know, the one with your glasses on.
Yeah. That's
That's the
so
second
funny.
picture for me.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
And then there's
Okay.
like DU like dance stuff. I don't see the picture from the event.
Well,
That's actually not on mine at all.
okay. That's weird. It's on mine.
It's probably because you've looked at it.
Probably. So true.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Shout out Nick Cage. Um,
Shout out Badlands. We should just shout him out
shout
for
out
every
Badlands. Our shout out list just gets longer every episode. Shout out Johnny Cakes.
shout out Tristy Poo.
But yeah, we'll be back next week.
We didn't really use stats or anything this episode, so there's nobody I need to credit. Creds to us.
Yeah, credits to Kaitlyn.
Only me. No, creds
Oh,
to,
only you.
to Lila as well. Creds to Lila for my Wikipedia page that she's going to create with my birthday wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. She goes, mm-hmm.